Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I am doing a get ready with me using my Holy Grail products that I have found in the year 2022 so far. So if you want to see that video, just stay tuned. So I'm going to start with the eyes. Usually that's just how I prefer to do my makeup, doing the eyes first, and then I have everything really nice and clean. So I'm taking the Hindash. This is the Intra eye tone pencil. So it's this really beautiful kind of chocolatey brown shade. And for this step, I'm just going to line the top lash line. I like to do eyeliner first, just to get kind of an outline of the shape of what I'm doing. Usually I just smudge this out with a deeper color, but I just like to do eyeliner first. That's just kind of how I've always done things. So I'm just taking this along the upper lash line. I'm not bringing it all the way across. I'm bringing it about 3/4 of the way across. And then from here, instead of directly just smudging it out, and with this pencil, you do have ample time to kind of play with it to smudge it out. It's not going to set right away. I'm going to dip into the Tom Ford. This is the Tiger Eye palette, which is my favorite eye quad of 2022 so far. And I'm just taking this kind of chocolatey brown shade. And I'm taking it on a smudge brush, so this is a Wayne Goss number 7 brush. And I'm just going to dip into that shade, and I am going to smudge that lash line shade out. And I kind of just like to smudge it right across. And then when I reach this outer corner, I like to kind of lift the color ever so slightly, almost to create a little more of a wedge shape just in the outer corner, just to get a little bit of a lift in that outer corner, but I'm not creating a wing or anything like that. It's not anything dramatic or drastic. It's just a subtle sort of wedged shape just in that outer corner to create an ever so slight lift. And then from here, I'm going to add just a little bit of color to like the outer corner crease and kind of the lid. So I'm going to take this bronze shade right here, which is so beautiful. It's this really pretty bronze that isn't too deep, it's not too light. It's that perfect neutral shade that is just so beautiful. So I'm taking this on this is a Sonia G Blender Pro, and this has a really nice pigmentation to it. So you can start off, and especially using a brush like this, I'm not going to get a ton of color payoff by using a fluffier brush. So I'm going in with a bit of that color. I'm going to first apply it to the outer corner of the eye. And then that's just where I want the most kind of definition and payoff. And then I'm just going to take the color and apply it all over the lid. So I'm taking that excess product, applying it all over the lid, kind of slightly bringing it into the crease, but not crazily so. I've been kind of liking not doing a lot in my crease these days. I'm not sure why. I just haven't been liking applying color there. So I'm just kind of going into that outer corner with the most pigment, and then with the rest of that product all over the lid. But I'm being really haphazard. I'm not being too precise with this step. And then if you wanted a little bit of more color on the lid, you can just go straight in with that brush and just apply it onto the lid. But again, the color is not going to be super precise because I am using a buffing brush to apply that color. So it's giving me just a sheer wash of color, but it looks really pretty. And then for the lid, I am going to take, this is the Sonia G Builder 2 brush, and I'm going to take this lightest shade here, which is kind of like a champagne gold shade. It is so beautiful. And I'm just taking that on this flat shader brush and applying it all over the lid. Now I love this palette because these shimmers are very sophisticated. They're very elegant. There is no kind of sporadic shimmer. There are no glitter particles to this. So you're going to get something that's really refined, that's really subtle and soft. The sheen is very, like I like to say, sophisticated. There's no glitter chunks, which I don't really enjoy, especially when I'm looking for something for a daily basis. I don't want anything that's going to be too intense, and this is just beautiful. And then for the lower lash line, I'm just going to take a little blender brush, and I'm going to dip back and forth between that bronze shade and that gold shade, and I'm going to run across the lower lash line. So I'm taking it from the outer corner, working it inwards, and then making sure I connect it to that outer top lid so that everything flows together. So for mascara, I just went in with my Holy Grail combo. So I have the Dior 3D Lash Maximizer and my Kier Weiss Impossible Mascara. Now you might notice my lashes look a little less nice than usual just because with my health issues, unfortunately, my eyelashes did fall out. So I'm kind of growing them back now, but progress. I still don't like false lashes, so I'm going all natural again, but they're just not as long as I'm used to. But anyways, I'm going to move on to my favorite concealer that I have found so far in 2022. And of course, this is now a Holy Grail concealer. So this is the Sisley Phyto-Éclat Eye Concealer with Botanical Extracts. This is the shade number 2, and it's a really nice kind of peachy shade. So I like to just apply it right under the eye here. Now, like I stated, you only need a small amount of this concealer. And I really like it because the peachy tone means that it adds some brightness and a little bit of color correcting to my eyes. So I don't find that I need an additional concealer with this. Like sometimes if you have color correcting concealers, you need to go in with an additional concealer to kind of counteract that peachiness. But this has just enough peachiness that it doesn't, but not too much peachiness that you need to add an additional concealer. It's just a slight peachy tone. And then I like to just blend that in with a Beauty Blender sponge. That's just what I find the best way to blend this into the skin because it is a little bit of a thicker concealer. So for me, brushes just don't do much with this, and to really meld it into the skin, a Beauty Blender works best for me. And time for my favorite foundation. So I do like to do a concealer before foundation. I just feel like I get a better blend onto my skin. That way everything looks a little bit more seamless, and then that way I feel like I don't require as much foundation on my face. I don't know why. For some reason, if my under eye circles are a little more covered up, I just feel like I don't need as much coverage in general. So for foundation, I'm going to take my favorite Dior Capture Totale Super Potent Serum Foundation in the shade 3N. Beautiful, beautiful foundation. I just really enjoy this one. So I like to give it a good shake. I like to start with just one pump onto the palm of my hand. And then again, my favorite way to apply foundation is just using a Beauty Blender sponge. And I like to just take that product and then I'll just go into the areas where I require a little bit more coverage first. But then I do blend it all over the skin just so everything kind of is the same color. But this just foundation is just absolutely phenomenal. I love the longevity of it. I love how it sits on the skin. It doesn't ever sit into any lines or creases on the skin. It never settles into any dryness. It just is so smoothing of the foundation. Anywhere where you have any pores or texture, it just lays over that area beautifully. If you're looking for a foundation that really smooths out the texture of your skin, this is the best foundation. And it's a really nice velvet finish to it. So it's more of like a skin-like finish, but it leans more toward velvet finish. It's very skin-like. And it's not really a radiance, but it adds this really nice kind of plumping effect as well. So I feel like whenever I wear this foundation, my skin just looks its best. It performs its best. And this foundation also never looks makeup-y on the skin. But I would say my favorite thing about this is just how it adds like a filtered effect to the skin. It really does. If you're looking for a filtering effect, this foundation is just flawless. I love it. And then the next Holy Grail I talked about in that video is the Peau, the concealer. So I have finished my regular Peau concealer, and I just picked up the new formula. So I've noticed that there is a little bit of a difference. The new formula, it's a little bit creamier. It actually sits on the skin. It's a little bit more skin-like than the older version. And it has a little bit less coverage. So if you were looking for that super, super full coverage, this doesn't have that same effect. It definitely still has a medium to fuller coverage, but it's not as full coverage as this is initially. But I like that a little bit better because you can build this up. So I'm just going to take, this is a Wayne Goss 16 brush. So it's this really dense brush. And again, because of my health issues, I just have been dealing with my skin a little bit more. It's definitely way better than what it was, but I'm just going over a little bit of areas where I have a little bit of pigmentation that I just want to conceal. And it's super easy to conceal. Like I said, it blends in like a dream. I just go in with a little bit of that product, buff it in, and it's just so seamless. So really easy, really beautiful concealer. Moving straight along to powder. So I've been really, really enjoying this Rodial glass powder. So that is just what the lid looks like. It's just this beautiful, really finely milled powder that works really great all over the face. So if I want to set my whole face, I'll use a really big brush like this La Mer. I think this is just the powder brush. Really huge brush. It basically fits my whole face, so I can just go in and powder all over the skin like this. But most of the time, I'm more of a specific powder placement person. So I like to go in with a really small brush like this. This is the Wayne Goss 02 brush. And I like to just I'll dip into a little bit of this powder. And then what I'll do is I'll just dip that excess powder, like tap off all that excess product into the top of this lid so that I don't have too much powder on my brush. And then what I like to do is, if I am going out for the evening, usually I'll add a little bit of powder under the eyes. I'm not doing that today, so I'm just gonna go on any areas of the skin where I really want to reduce the appearance of pores. So for me, that's the center of my face and like the middle of my chin. And then I'll go over any areas where I applied that facial concealer. And this really adds that really smoothing, again, that blurring effect. It's very soft focus. It's very smoothing on the skin. So again, if you're looking for that kind of filtered skin look, this is a fantastic powder as well. But it's not a completely flat matte powder. It's just very flattering on the skin. So I would give this a go. This has replaced like my Givenchy loose powder. Now I still like to use a pressed powder, especially at the end of my makeup application, but this is just great if you're looking to set down your makeup. Moving right along to bronzer, this is the Guerlain Terracotta Light, the Sun-Kissed Healthy Glow Powder in the shade 03 Medium Warm. So we have that beautiful kind of combination of different powders in here. So we have that kind of blush shade, a bronzer shade, and a little bit of a highlighting shade, but all combined together just adds this beautiful healthy glow on the skin. But first of all, I'm just going to finish off with the lower lash line. So I'm going to take a little bit of this bronzer and I'm just going to take that on a little pencil brush and I'm just going to finish the lower lash line with this. I just like to add a little bit of my bronzer to the lower lash line to complete the look. I don't know why. I just like to finish off the look like that. And you know how I did say that I'm not adding any color to my crease? An alternative you could do is just dip in with a little bit of that bronzer and just run it along the crease, just add a little bit of warmth and just kind of tie the whole look together. I really like doing that versus adding like eyeshadow into my crease. I've just kind of been digging on that sort of look lately, but totally up to you. And then to apply my bronzer onto my face, my favorite bronzer brush is the Rephr 22. And so I like to just dip into my bronzer, I don't know, like 10 times. And then I tap off the excess, and I always take off that excess powder on the back of my hand just so that I don't get too much powder applied onto the skin all at once. And I like to kind of just start on the forehead, and then I'll go across the cheekbones and everything. And my favorite thing about this bronzer, well, first of all, it's multi-purpose. So if you just wanted to apply one product onto your face, you could just go in with this bronzer. And because it has a little bit of that blush tone to it, you don't necessarily need to go in with an additional blush or highlight or anything because this has an ever so soft sheen to it. So if I am just running errands and I want to put on like a little bit of concealer or like a tinted moisturizer and just apply this product, I'm good to go. But I really love this because it adds this really youthful effect to my skin. Like I just feel like my skin looks so much healthier when I apply this product. Not that it doesn't when I apply a normal bronzer, but for some reason, this little bit of peachiness that kind of peachy blush tone adds to this bronzer, I think is just so flattering and so youthful on the skin. And while I said that this bronzer did have a little bit of a sheen, it's a very skin-like sheen. There are no, you can't pick up any detectable shimmer particles because that really bugs me if you can see little shimmer flecks on the skin. You cannot detect those. It just looks like really beautiful, healthy skin. Now I actually did pick up the Charlotte Tilbury. This is the Beautiful Skin Sun-Kissed Glow Bronzer. So it's a cream bronzer. And then I also just picked up the Chanel Powder Bronzer. So I am going to be testing those out. Obviously, as of now, I've only tried this Guerlain one. So this is my favorite of 2022 so far. But I've heard really great things about the Chanel bronzer and also the Charlotte Tilbury. So I'll be really curious to see how they kind of hold up in comparison to my favorite Guerlain bronzer. I'm going to see if they kind of beat it out, but I will obviously keep you updated. So I did mention 2 different bronzers in my Holy Grail video, but seriously, the day that I filmed that video, this Éclat Peau highlighter came in the mail because I did order this from Sephora. Éclat Peau is available on Sephora Canada. And when I first got it, I was actually really unsure about it because there is like a glitter overspray when you first get this highlighter. So I rubbed off the glitter overspray and I was very happy to see that the glitter is not all throughout the highlighter. It's just an overspray effect. But I tried this highlighter and it is seriously so, so beautiful. It reminds me a lot of the Chanel Camellia highlighter that is limited edition, this one. They kind of have a very similar formulation where they're very powdery, but they look so beautiful on the skin. So with this, you do get quite a bit of powder kick up, but it doesn't look, like I said, powdery on the skin. It is so, so pretty. I thought I'd use this highlighter today. For one, the Chanel highlighter is no longer available. And for 2, I think this might be a new holy grail because the way it performs on the skin is so, so beautiful. So this is the Peau Luminizing Face Enhancer in the shade 16. I believe it's the shade Almond. It does come with a little brush. I wouldn't recommend this brush for applying on the skin. It's just, no, that's just not my favorite highlighter brush. So I'm going in with a Sonia G. This is a mini cheek brush. And like I said, when you dip your brush into the powder, it is quite powdery and you get a lot of powder onto the brush. So you only need a small amount of product. I like to kind of take off that excess. But when you apply it on the skin, it is so beautiful. Like I said, you can't detect any of those shimmer particles, but it adds this, I don't even know if you can tell, it's this beautiful glowing effect without detectable highlighter on your skin. Like, it doesn't look like I've applied a highlighter, but it adds just this really beautiful glow to my skin that is just so pretty. It really just enhances your skin. It gives a beautiful kind of lit from within glow, but it doesn't look obvious. This is great if you don't really like typical highlighters because they are too intense. This is a very beautiful subdued highlighter. It is not over the top. It just gives your skin something special, but it's not detectable. But for me, what this does to the skin, it's very subtle and not too noticeable, but the effect that it gives is so worth it to apply. I just think it is so pretty. It's almost like you can't really tell what you've done differently, but it's just an added special touch. It's almost like when you buff your skin at the end of your makeup application, like you buff everything together. It almost adds that sort of effect, like it's just a special addition. So I'm so impressed with this powder highlighter so far. And then for blush, another Peau product. I just can't get enough of Peau products. Their makeup products are just so beautiful. The formulas are just so incredibly finely milled. Like when you feel the powders, they're just such elegant, beautiful powders. And I'm taking a Wayne Goss 12 brush. And for this step, I usually like to just mix these two together. So I'm just gonna dip into that kind of peachy shade and then go primarily into that kind of rosebud shade. Again, tap off that excess product, and then I just like to apply onto the cheeks just to add a little bit of color. And again, Peau powders, their products are just so stunning on the skin. They really meld into your skin, so it doesn't look like you have like powder products sitting on top of your skin. They have this beautiful ability to just meld into your skin. They have this like really creamy effect to your skin, which I just love. And again, all the Peau powders, they have like this ever so subtle sheen to them without emphasizing skin texture, because a lot of the times when you have shimmer in face products, they actually will emphasize or they'll pick up on skin texture, but these products never do. And for lips, I am taking the Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk Lip Cheat. Now this has been a holy grail since like maybe 2018 or 2019. I have yet to find a lip liner that I like better than this, so wow, when that day comes, it will be kind of a miracle because just nothing is better than this. My holy grail lipstick of 2022 is the Sisley. This is the Phyto-Rouge Shine, and this is the shade Nude. I think it's Nude. This has the sheer petal one because I just got a refill of the Nude one, but it's number 11 Nude, and this is just such a beautiful formulation. Has a nice scent to it, but it's not like sickly sweet or anything. Like, I just love this on my lips every time. It just looks so good, I think. But love this formula. It's so comfortable, really nice, gives that nice plump effect, but it isn't like a gloopy lip product. It doesn't make your lips feel too oily or too greasy or anything like that. Just super, super comfortable. And then I like to just kind of meld everything into the lips because I like my lips to be a little bit more lived in than like sitting on top of my lips. That's just what I like in a lip product. So that's it for my Get Ready With Me using my Holy Grail products that I have found so far in 2022. Makeup has definitely come a long way in the past few years, and I've definitely kind of been replacing more Holy Grails more often than I would in maybe the past. But for a product to come out as a Holy Grail, in my eyes, that is definitely a significant thing. And if you guys don't know, the whole basis of my channel runs along finding the best of the best. I am someone that likes a really curated collection. I don't believe in just purchasing everything new and having like 100 different items. To me, that is just so not sustainable, and it is just so, it's just not really efficient. It's kind of a waste of money. How are you ever going to use more than like 10 lip products or 10 eyeshadows? To me, that's just not realistic. You are never going to use those up. And I like that kind of cost per wear sort of effect, especially with makeup. So I definitely focus on that on my channel. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know if you have found any holy grails in the year of 2022, because of course I would love to try out the best of the best and always love to hear your recommendations. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Like this video if you like it, and I'll see you in my next video.